annoying side. Stick out the mandolin and the voice. The whole thing, really. Alright, let's start the show.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Hop Heroes, a show where we talk about our favorite drinks and our favorite heroes. I'm your host, Jordan Erith, and with me as always, we have talented artist and comic enthusiast, J.R. Gonzalez.
Sup, Jordan?
What's up, JR? How's quarantine life, man?
It's all right. I'm only quarantined starting next week, and only for 3 days a week.
Oh, okay. So you're like a temporary quarantine.
Yeah. Hopefully things keep going, because if not, then I won't be getting paid. So I'll have to ask to be laid off just so I can get paid.
So are you going to be working from home then next week, or are you just not? Are you just going to go down to working 3 days?
2 days working from home, 3 days. 3 days working from home, 2 days working from the office. So we got to have one representative of sales in the office in case people do call. And then the other 3 days I will be calling as many people as I can to drum up work for sales.
Got it.
Nice. Fun stuff. Right on, man. Yeah, times are weird. And then we got our third host, Zach Barlow.
You know what I was just thinking? I'm good. How come you always introduce JR first? Like every single episode, it's JR and then me. Can we talk about that order? Like, what made you decide that that's the order to do this?
I mean, I think it's kind of obvious. I think we've actually had this conversation before multiple times.
Have we?
Yeah, it used to be.
I think so too. But you guys are totally drunk
guest,
having it,
bro. Yeah, we're usually pretty fucked up.
Oh yeah. There's like
You're so toasty.
I used to be the special guest for like a year on every single episode. Special guest Zach Barlow. Like what the fuck? Oh man.
We all came up with this show together, but for some reason Zach was special guest.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm good, bro. I quarantine life is it is what it is. I kind of losing my mind. I went on a run. I actually just got back from going on a run today, which...
You are losing your mind. The hell?
Yeah, I know.
You're going to go on a fucking run?
I know, dude. It's weird times. Can't go to the gym, so I'm just like freaking losing it. I don't even like video games anymore, so that's another thing that's like really killing me. Last night, I was online with Mark, me and my friends, and we just sat on a Discord call, what do you want to do? I don't know, man. What do you want to do? Is there any new games? I don't know. Do you want to play any games? All right, I don't even want to play games. I'm getting off. I'm going to go read a book. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. It's, but...
Yikes.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I mean, the new Animal Crossing came out on Friday along with Doom, and I've never played either franchise, but they're pretty hyped up right now. And I saw a bunch of pictures and videos on Twitter of them just building islands and then going to each other's islands and just hanging out and sitting at a table.
In Animal Crossing?
Well, in Animal Crossing,
I honestly do not understand Animal Crossing. If you're listening to this, can you get on our Twitter page and help me understand why that game is popular? Because it looks trash to me. I'm not going to lie. I apologize for offending anybody.
Yeah. I asked Vinny, and he's because him and Bree got into it, I guess, a while ago, and he's like, it's just really fucking cute. That's the appeal, I guess. It's just a really super adorable game. So
it's funny because Doom is exactly the opposite.
Yeah, let's drop them on the same day. Heaven and hell.
This game looks ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, you're looking at it right now, JR?
I've never even heard of it. I don't play. It looks stupid.
One of the characters is in Smash Bros. You can unlock them or play with them. But yeah, it's funny that you went for a run. That's the difference between you and me. The gym's closed, so you find another way. The gym's closed for me, and this is all right, I guess I can't work out. So I have no guilt about not doing it anymore.
Hunting down Jack in the Box tacos. Instead.
Yeah. You're well, there's nothing I can do, so guess I'm done working out.
I'm a victim. The gym was open, and I would not go, but I would feel guilty about it at least. And now the gym's closed, and I'm not going, but I don't feel guilty about it because I can't. So it's actually kind of nice. And now when I pay an extra $20 to get my food DoorDash instead of getting out of my house and going to pick it up, I feel like a hero now instead of a slob. There's a lot of silver linings here that we have to find and just hold on to. Yeah. So that's what I'm focusing on. But yeah, we have a lot of time on our hands right now, so we thought we'd throw a Hopdate at you guys, quarantine style, and just get some content out there, see what's popping in the universes, and see how you guys are doing, and see what we're doing with our lives. So One thing that Z wanted to talk about, we all saw Jojo Rabbit, which is from, what's the director's name? Taika
Waititi.
Taika
Waititi. Yeah, I always get that name mixed up. So, yeah, it comes from Taika Waititi. It's about a young German boy who's in the Nazi camp, and he has an imaginary friend that is Hitler, and he finds out he has a Jewish girl hiding in his attic, and shit goes awry from there. So it's a very, very unique topic and synopsis, and very well received movie. I was really excited to watch this one, so when Zach wanted to talk about it, I was very much on board. And JR, you watched it yesterday as well?
Yeah, I watched it last night.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, what were your thoughts?
Before we jump into that, real quick, are you guys playing Doom? Have you guys ever been into Doom at all?
I've never played Doom.
I've never played Doom.
Neither have I. Okay,
but the new one looks fucking dope.
It looks crazy. Like, I just wanted to see what the feedback was on that. But all right,
I think we're all going to dive into some games we've never played before. So
I know
that's probably one.
Probably.
Of them as well.
Word.
So let's just branch out. So yeah, Jojo Rabbit. What were your first thoughts, JR?
Whew, it was actually I was entertained right away. One, I love Taika Waititi because of obviously Thor, and I love his vampire take in his movie called God, I always get that one wrong. It's like a really long title.
What Happens Behind the Shadows or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
We
great.
Do in the Shadows or something like that.
What We Do in the Shadows, yeah.
And that movie was hilarious. I saw that on Netflix a couple years ago.
They have a series now on FX.
Yeah, they make it 2 seasons already or something like that.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
So he's got a really great take on, I think, on everything. It's kind of got a comedic, but like heartfelt take with, sometimes serious topics, which is what Thor was all about. Like, it was funny, but yet badass at the same time.
I honestly think Taika Waititi saved the Thor franchise. Like, that might be like a crazy take, but
I think it took it to a new level so they could create more stuff with it.
I think that Thor was easily, in my opinion, the worst single standing franchise out of the entire MCU, and I think that it was suffering from because those movies were expensive to make, and I don't think they were hitting their numbers at all. And I just don't think they were very good. And then Taika took over and essentially changed the entire direction of the franchise, not so much narratively, but also narratively, but more so just kind of from a style standpoint, like stylistically. He decided to make it, kind of comedic. He had Chris Hemsworth cut his hair and be fucking, fight the Hulk and shit. And I feel like that was easily the best Thor movie. And now he's making another one. So
part 4.
Yeah. So he saved Thor, in my opinion.
Yeah, hot take, cold hard hot take.
Cold hard hot take.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah,
he's back. The kid is back.
Cold hard hot take. I think Taika saved Thor.
Captain Cold Hard. I agree, man. Ragnarok was just on a league of its own. When we did our live show and ranked the MCU, it got number 2 of all the MCU movies, and all the other Thor movies were bottom barrel ones.
And the other thing to consider too in that is that even when the MCU movies came together for in the Infinity War and everything, the Thor that showed up in those joint movies, even though Taika didn't necessarily direct those movies, was Taika's Thor. I mean, it was that version of Thor where he was kind of more
the
laid
funny
back.
Thor.
He had way more jokes. He was funnier, and so it kind of echoed even after the movie that he actually directed. It's that the character he established lived on in other people's movies because it was that popular, and now he's making another single movie with it. So. Just to kind of reinforce the argument, I do believe Taika saved Thor.
Yeah. It took almost a Guardians approach to the character with the humor being forefront and not just sparse, which game changer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you liked it, JR? You thought it was
I quite enjoyed it. It's a very Amber loves that topic too, the Nazis and the whole that whole era. That's one of her favorite topics to read and learn about. So it kind of took a different take on it.
Is Amber a 65-year-old grandpa that just reads World War II
World War
novels?
II?
Yeah, she probably is. She loves that stuff a lot, and sometimes it's depressing to watch it, but this time it wasn't. So
Dude, that sounds like my stepdad Tim, just watching like black and white documentaries on how they built tanks in Germany and shit.
all the time.
Tim
watch,
would,
you know, the Holocaust stuff, and
100%.
yeah, it's something she loves to watch. But yeah, she enjoyed that one, which is a good telltale for me as well. So it was a great movie. Yeah, I loved it, beginning to end.
Yeah,
intriguing.
Yeah, it gave me a hardcore Wes Anderson vibe. It was like kind of like Moonrise Kingdom, those Royal Tenenbaums, you know, just like super off-topic, quirky characters, really light dialogue in such like a dark themed environment. Like it made something like that could be so bleak and miserable seem like fun and light and happy. Like he threw a grenade at a tree and it bounced back and blew his face off, and everybody's like, so don't do it like that. Do it this way. It's like
Sam Rockwell's like hilarious. I love him so much.
Sam Rockwell is my fucking boy, dude. God, I love that guy. Have you seen was it 3 Billboards? That movie with I can't remember the lead, but she's in Fargo, and he's the cop. Anyways, it was another big movie that won a bunch of awards, but he's in that. He's just great. Rockwell is a killer actor.
He's in the first TMNT movie from the 80s. 1990. He's
Sam Rockwell. Oh, he's one of the Foot Clan, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's one of the little gangsters. He's the guy with the white shirt and has the chains all over, and he's
oh fuck, what a pull, dude.
Yeah, that's so random. He's like some random character in this movie. He's also he's the guy in Galaxy Quest. His name's Guy. He's like the extra
I love him in
snuck
Galaxy
onto the
Quest.
ship.
Yeah, he thinks he's gonna die every time.
Yeah, dude. He's like the guy that dies in every episode, and then he gets trapped on the ship. So Sam Rockwell is obviously the best part of the movie. But he plays a great part in it. Taika was Hitler. He did great. Scarlett's in it. I mean, she did great. Like, there's some big names in this movie.
The kid that plays Jojo Rabbit, I feel like, did an incredible job.
He did a really good job. Whoever played the Jewish girl, she did a fantastic job. Like, it gave me like hardcore. I didn't realize it until the end, and when Heroes by David Bowie started playing out when they were dancing at the very end,
in German.
I was like, in German, I got all these fucking like chills, and that was like, that's when I correlated it to Perks of Being a Wallflower. Have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
I got
very
similar vibes of that, because like that song is very big in that movie, and then it's like, oh yeah, kind of a movie about inclusiveness and a kid that doesn't fit in and wants to fit in, and he tries whatever he can and finds love in a girl that's never like been around before. So I don't know, maybe it was a stretch, but that's kind of the feeling I got from it, and I loved that movie. And I really liked Jojo Rabbit. So definitely a great fucking flick, and it's unique, and it's a good palate cleanser right now if you need something quirky and weird and interesting and new.
Yeah.
But this is your movie, Z. So what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I want to touch on the lightness of it. I think that Taika decides to explore something that's inherently like dark and kind of very sad through the lens of a child. And I think that that's an interesting kind of idea, because I don't know if there's ever been a ton of stories that kind of do the same thing, especially talking about something like war. And I think inherently children just kind of have this kind of light view of things. They're not like, I think that as we grow up and as we get older, we kind of start to, I guess you can call it, understand the world a little bit more. We know that we're not invincible, and we know that, you know, people die and we've all been hurt and so on and so forth, and things kind of can get a little bit darker. But because Jojo's 10, he doesn't, it's like he just doesn't really fully grasp the shittiness of what's happening all around him, and he just wants to, he's a 10-year-old boy, and he just wants to be a war hero, you know what I mean? He wants to fight in the front lines. And I think that that's kind of what leads to that lightness, and I think that that's like a really interesting idea. The other thing too is that, to me, this movie is more than anything else just about like empathy, and about how like hatred is taught. Right? Like here we have this character, Jojo, this 10-year-old boy, and he's a Nazi. He's literally a Nazi. But you don't hate him. Nobody hates him, because you just see that he was born into this world, and that he's been kind of conditioned to be a certain way. And as we go through his story, and his mom is kind of saying like, you know, she's not necessarily a Nazi. In fact, she's the opposite, but she's saying, you know, that Jojo is just it's not his fault. And what happens is he meets a Jewish person in his house that his mom is kind of hiding from the Nazi officials. And over time, he realizes that person like isn't a monster, doesn't have scales or a tail or horns or anything like that, and is actually just a person. And actually ends up starting to like her. And he's like, damn, I'm actually trying to kiss this girl a little bit or something. And I don't know. I just think it's like a really cool take on making something like funny, making something entertaining, but then also like having a message, and the message being that hatred is taught. Don't be a Nazi, and be empathetic. Like, be more empathetic to the people that you disagree with or whatever, because they're humans too. And to watch Jojo like have to deal with that Nazism and that hate, and then kind of overcome it, I think is just fucking rad. So I feel like it's funny and it's light, but I also feel like I remember walking out of I saw this in theaters, and I remember walking out of the theater and just like turning to Alicia and being like, holy fuck, dude, like that's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's like you laugh and you cry, and I'm like really into screenplays right now. I've been reading a ton of screenplays, and from that perspective, Taika has just this is genius level work in my opinion, I think.
Yeah, and when I say it's light, like, yeah, they make light of certain like ambiances, and their dialogue is quirky and witty, but this is a heavy emotional movie.
Well,
like Z was saying, you laugh, you cry.
It gets there, and it gets super sad too. Like at the end, I don't want to give it away, but something really crazy happens that I wasn't expecting because of the tone of the movie. Like the tone, I think the tone can set expectations, and the tone can be a dialogue choice, right? And that's part of it. But in a movie, it's also lighting and how the shots are made, right? And so all of that puts together, it creates a certain tone or an aesthetic in which I, as a viewer, am expecting this to be a certain way. And then when it turns and it's not that way, it's super surprising. My expectation was that this was just going to be like a light, silly, funny, happy movie. And then when something tragic happens, it's fucking shocking. And I think it just like lands that much better because it exists almost in juxtaposition of the tone that is set in the beginning, when you have this like Hitler running through the forest like frolicking with this kid and then the grenade thing happens. And I just feel like, again, like I can gush about this movie a lot all day, but I just think this is seriously one of the better movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of how it is to be a kid, right? Everything is happy-go-lucky, and then when something happens, it catches you off guard. Like when something real happens, it's like, wait, that can happen? Like, and you feel safe watching this movie, because even though it's fucking World War II, it's like, this is fun. It's a comedy. Everybody's having fun. And then when shit actually happens, it's like, wait, that's allowed to happen in this universe?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it hits, and it hits quick, and it hits hard. Mm-hmm. But it also picks right back up, and it's a really good, really great experience. All right, so yeah, that's Z's gonna hop off of Waititi's Pecker, and we're gonna go into
I'm probably
Taika,
not, though.
I love his first name.
Like we can move on to like a different subject, but like I am not hopping off. I'm just need you to know that I'm a Taika fanboy.
Ride it into the sunset, dog.
I'm fanboy, dude. I'm about to start a Taika fan club.
Oh God!
You guys want to be in it, or no? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Send us the invite. We'll get back to you on that. So,
I want the newsletter monthly.
Yeah. So there is some things happening. Obviously, the movies that are supposed to be coming out here soon are not due to the current circumstances. So a couple movies that have been delayed. Black Widow, which was supposed to be, I believe, May 1st. That's been pushed back indefinitely. New Mutants was supposed to be April 3rd. That's been pushed back indefinitely. Mulan was supposed to be coming out, the live-action Disney movie. That's been pushed back indefinitely. And then we have Bloodshot made it, though, guys. Bloodshot made it to theaters. So don't worry if you're not.
What a disaster for Bloodshot to have made it to theaters right now. It's like worst-case scenario for them. Like, you're just like, oh, great.
Seriously.
We can't take it back. It's already out. But, like, literally 0 people are going to go see this. Word.
Are people going to risk their lives to go see Vin Diesel play a superhero right now? I think they will.
What's funny is that at least now they can blame coronavirus, but the truth is that they probably would have done the same numbers even if we weren't in this quarantine.
That's true. I was not interested in that movie at all. I was not.
I don't understand why they don't just release new movies as a stream. Like just let us buy the movies or rent the movies.
Some have. So that's what I was gonna say. They have released a few on demand. Like you can rent The Invisible Man, which just came out, which is a new kind of thriller. And you can rent The Hunt, which just came out, and Sam and I actually watched that this weekend. And it's like kind of like a Hunger Games type idea where a rich family drops people off in their manor and hunts them, but it's not. It ends up not being about that. So like it was not what I expected, and it was actually really, really well done.
So it didn't sound that rad.
No, yeah, it didn't. It seems really simplistic and overdone. And then they're like, and I saw on Twitter, like, just watch it and trust me. And so I watched it, and it was not what I expected. It got, like, everybody that's big, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but shit changes right off the bat, like, right from the start. You wouldn't expect it. So it's really cool. I give it a plus. Go check it out. But there are also some other changes happening, potential changes in the MCU, right, JR, that kind of include Zach's other heartthrob, Toby Maguire.
Yeah, there's some hints at a lot of
episode.
That's what we're gonna title that with big emojis of hearts. Obviously, Jordan and I are huge Spider-Man fans, so we really take really close to these kind of news things. They've talked about actually doing a live action version of the Spider-Verse and having multiple Spider-Mans, and they're leaning towards Toby Maguire coming back as an older Spider-Man.
Let's go.
Which
I hope it's Spider-Man 3, Toby Maguire, where he's got an emo haircut and he's fucking dancing down the sidewalk.
Dude, Toby Maguire was the best Peter Parker. I can't wait.
Good God.
It definitely was fun. It's very nostalgic too, because that came out, I think, for all of us as kids. I mean, that was like, I was still in school when that movie came out and rushed to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Zach just likes it because they had Dashboard on their soundtrack.
Vindicated! I am selfish! I am wrong! I am right! I swear I'm right!
It's literally the only reason Zach's into this.
Hope dangles on a string. Dude, that fucking soundtrack was
spinning,
so...
redemption. Whining.
Oh my God. Man, I was just like me and like my imaginary friend Peter Parker, which was Toby Maguire, just listening to freaking Dashboard, Vindicated. Man, those were the days, dog. Those were the days.
Those were the days, man. Vindicated and My Chem, just back and forth. in the CD changer, because we had a CD changer.
In the CD changer, that's pretty funny. The other thing I didn't probably mention to you guys is they've talked about replacing Stan Lee's cameos with somebody, to kind of give it that feeling, and they're talking about it being Deadpool, doing. So it'd be Ryan Reynolds being in all the cameos that Stan Lee was doing.
I mean, he breaks the fourth wall all the time. It makes sense. If they're gonna do somebody, I guess.
I don't know, man. So, I don't know how I feel about that. I just feel like if you do that, like, I think it'd be funny and it'd be like a cool kind of gimmicky thing, but that just makes Deadpool like such a big deal. Like, I don't know if I want to give Deadpool that like OP Stan Lee level of just, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. It probably shouldn't matter to me, but it just seems like, man, that gives Deadpool like, that makes Deadpool basically like, I don't know. I think Stan Lee is Stan Lee, and it should just be Stan Lee.
Yeah, and I think put Deadpool in that same conversation.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well, I think that what they're gonna do is maybe, obviously, there's a feeling to it when Stan Lee pops up, but there might be a much more of like a web connection to having Deadpool there. And at the end of Deadpool 2, he's got that device where he could travel around time, so he's actually traveling already.
Oh man,
in time and back and forth. So they're logistic wise, he already has that power to do whatever the fuck he wants. And in the comic books, he's always been that nuisance to everybody, you know, at times too. So
he's just gonna show up in other people's movies and just fuck shit up and then leave,
steal the show and then bounce.
Just like, particularly with Spider-Man, he does a really good job of annoying Peter Parker constantly. And we're like, dude, we're not friends. He's like, we're our friends, dude. No, we're not friends. He goes, I'll buy you tacos, you know, stuff like that. He goes, are we friends? So I think it's kind of a unique thing. I think you're right. It's not. I shouldn't have said replace Stan Lee. Should have said it maybe like a different dynamic than Stan Lee's position in all his cameos.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Hopefully that we get to enjoy coming up that we don't want to miss out on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, we'll bounce back. Those will be coming up soon, and we'll be in theaters to watch it, eating flaming hot popcorn and
the poop popcorn. That does not.
God, popcorn.
The lava poop. The lava poop. And then there's also was announced that the first two non-binary characters were released, Snowflake and Safe Space, and Zach had a lot of thoughts on this, so he wanted to make sure we brought this up.
Oh my god,
because he wanted to tell the world how he felt.
Oh god.
Opinionated thoughts.
So we had a conversation about whether or not we wanted to talk about this, and we decided that we did. So here's my thing. Here's my take. I don't have a problem with like non-binary characters. I feel like that's a good idea. Although JR made a point earlier saying that there are non-binary characters already in the MCU, Loki being one of them. Loki shapeshifts and never really claims to be anything because he's kind of everything.
Absolutely.
He could be a woman and a man. I have a problem with the names. Bad. Snowflake and Safe Space. Like, I feel like, sure, there could be non-binary characters. But if you're sitting in a room and you're coming up with these ideas, and you probably have like 6 people in that room, how do you land on Snowflake and Safe Space? It almost seems like it's a farce of itself. It's so on the nose, and it's so just clumsy to me. And I think that Safe Space is like, oh, this is a defensive character, and like makes places safe for other people. And then Snowflake is, well, normally snowflakes are viewed as fragile, but these ones are sharp and can cut. Like, I just feel like, get the fuck out of here with that shit, dude. It's so bad. I hate the concept. I think it's way too on the nose. I don't have a problem with the non-binary characters, but God, I just think that they goofed up on the names and the builds of these characters big time.
They should have gone with like Pat, like that movie Pat, where you can't tell if it's a girl or a guy. You ever seen that movie? It's an SNL skit. And they made it into a movie. Look it up. It's a really funny movie, and she talks. It comes where the joke where she had it's actually Pat's the actress it's an actress, and she puts a banana in her pocket, and nobody in the movie can figure out what Pat is, guy or girl. And so Pat walks into the room with a banana in her pocket, and someone goes, "Hey, are you just happy to see me, or is that a banana in your pocket?" And Pat pulls out, "It's just a banana, dude. I don't." And he's like, "Fuck, you can't figure out what it is." So it's actually a pretty hilarious movie. All that stuff has been done before. I think people just want to feel good about themselves sometimes, and let's make up weird names. But Pat works for both. I don't know.
Pat does work. So does Jordin. Could just be a superhero named Jordin, So does Zach. JR could go both ways. Zach.
You know what I think my problem is with this? I think that Snowflake and Safe Space don't allow the characters to be like multidimensional. Like, I feel like if there was like if they made these characters and they happened to be non-binary, but they ended up being a character like the Punisher or Daredevil or something like that, what happens is, like, at that point you get to have a character that isn't necessarily defined by the fact that they're non-binary, whereas these characters are like driven by that and defined by that, and it's so in your face, it doesn't really give them room to be anything else. Like, Daredevil's name is Daredevil or Matt Mercer. We don't call Daredevil the blind lawyer that fights crime at night. That's not his fucking superhero name. Handicap Man. Like, that's not what it is. It's Daredevil. It's Matt Mercer.
Fights with his handicap
and
tag.
Based on that, he has the ability to be multidimensional.
He can park
he can
anywhere.
Be a lawyer. He can fight crime. He can be kung fu. Like, whatever the fuck it is. but when you name these characters Snowflake and Safe Space, it's just like, okay, I got it. All right, these are the non-binary characters. Great. Which is almost farcical of the fact that you're trying to create these non-binary characters. It's just not real. It's annoying. I hate it. I really don't like it.
Yeah. I think one thing that I will tell you that bugs me when they create characters specifically to make maybe a statement or allow some open-mindedness is a lot of, for me, comic book characters, if you look at their origin stories, they've had to overcome something to be that superhero. And so when you give, that's what their name stands for, a lot of the times, Daredevil is the blind lawyer. That's an overcoming scenario for that guy. And I think sometimes when, like you're saying, Snowflake, what is the overcoming? The decision to not pick a gender or not have the
discrimination, bro.
Discrimination.
They both are.
Well, pick a name that represents that choice instead of picking something I would name my dog or something like that, or my turtle. Turtle Snowflake.
Following the same logic, I'm gonna start calling the Hulk Big Green Rage Monster.
Big Green Rage Monster. I mean, it flows.
Yeah,
it rolls right off the tongue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on that. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think Zach brings up a good point. Like, a character named Safe Space, you never have to worry about them going to the other side and becoming a villain. Like, there's never going to be a villain named Safe Space. So you know that they're going to stay on the good side forever.
You're just not giving these characters any room to be anything other than non-binary. And I don't think that being non-binary is, like, the sole identifying factor for people that actually are. I mean, they're human beings. They're layered just like everybody else. And when you make these characters so one-dimensional, it takes away any other layer that they could possibly have. And I think it's just a mistake. God, it's a mistake.
Take him to church, baby. Take him to church, Z. All right, so that's what's happening. That's what's current in the MCU. Before we close out, though, Z has an announcement he wants to make for all you listeners out there. Something exciting. Big
announcement, everybody. Welcome. It's your boy. It's Zach, Z-Killa Cuckoo, a.k.a. Tableau. You know who it is. But this is what we're doing here. So we're in special times. Everybody's kind of quarantined right now. We're locked up. It's hard. Some people are losing their jobs. I get it, and it sucks. Essentially, what we have decided to do, though, is none of us are doctors. None of us are frontline workers. But what we do is we read comic books. We read them real good. We talk about comic books and drink beer. We drink that beer real good. And also, sometimes I have funny jokes. And so when I tell those funny jokes, I make you laugh. So basically what we're doing is we are...
Just Zach.
Just me. Yeah, just me.
Because we and then I.
Yeah, no, just me.
Come on.
What we're doing is... essentially what I'm saying is we make content. JR's an artist. I'm a writer. Jordan's a writer. We make these podcasts. I have a group of friends that do a hip-hop podcast, Sleep Easy. And at one point, we all had one kind of place to view this content and see everything. And I'm not going to lie, listeners, it got hard. And so I kind of did some other things, and I gave up on it. But for you, and for everybody out there, we are bringing Oz back. Oz is back up. It's running again. We have some super special blog posts that we're getting ready to post. I wrote about dancing with my fiance at her bridal shower as the world burned all around us. God knows what Jordan wrote about. I think JR has an ongoing a journal that he's going to share with everybody. But so the plan is that we're going to start releasing these blog posts this coming week. As you're listening to this episode, the idea is we're going to release the blog post the next day. You'll see us on Facebook. You'll see us on Instagram. You'll see us on Twitter. And really what we want to do is we just want to give you a place to laugh, to kind of just, try to read something that makes you feel a certain way, be human. And not spend all of your waking hours with the news and with worrying about what's going on. I know that's a small thing, but it's what we have to give. And so we are here giving it. And if you are a content creator or an artist or a creative, Oz has always stood for community and has always stood for kind of being a platform in which to get more eyes and more ears on your work and your projects. And so, the second half of this is kind of bringing more artists in, bringing more creatives in, expressing themselves in this dire time. Because, at the end of the day, I watched a video this week, and it was about Italy. And Italy is, one of the worst places in the world to be right now, and they're all kind of locked down. But this guy got on a piano, and he started playing My Heart Will Go On the piano. And then another guy got on his balcony and started playing saxophone to it. And then a bunch of people came out on their balcony and started listening to it and clapping. And I just thought, that's fucking so powerful. The human spirit is moved and expressed through art. And even in dire times, I think that still matters. And so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to do our part. And so Oz is back, better than ever. And we're here to, we're here to just make you laugh, make you cry, make you think, and help you feel a little bit more human at the end of the day, I think.
We're here to Jojo Rabbit your asses.
Yeah, dude. We're young Taika Waititis, but our power level just isn't that high yet. But we're in the hyperbolic time chamber trying to get to that Taika Waititi Super Saiyan level of fucking comedy and empathy. And yeah, we just want to create content and help you feel human and help you get through this. And so that's what we're gonna do. And if you're an artist, reach out to us. You're going to see us all over social media this week. We have a kind of layout planned where we're going to post something every single day. And, we're going to get this going again. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Fuck yeah. So for all you listeners that haven't checked it out yet, it's ourzenith.com. And there are several pages of content. There's blogs, there's podcasts, there's pictures, media. So Zach's just going to keep adding to that, and we'll be providing content. And if anybody out there is interested in getting some of your content out there, if you have thoughts right now that you want to express and you want to put it on a platform for others to express, to hear, to read, to listen, just reach out. You can hit us up at Hop Heroes Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram. You can also email us at hopheroespodcast@gmail.com with anything that you want to be a part of, because that's what Oz is. It's a platform to get creative expressions out there to the world. And like Z is saying, this is the time.
Yep.
Right now, it's what everybody needs. So, let's fill the void.
Yep.
Let's give people what they need.
Lots of crazy shit happening in free agency too, and we might be adding a fantasy football podcast to the Oz family. I don't know. So maybe that might be in the works. We'll see about that. But yeah, just keep a lookout, because we're constantly growing and changing, and and the other thing too is we're all super passionate about this, and so I think that it matters more now than ever, and so just rock with us.
100%, man, 100%. So yeah, that's what we have for you guys this week. And as this goes on, we're gonna be playing it by ear how much content we can put out there for you, but we're gonna be filling your guys' headphones with something. So thank you guys so much for listening this week, and next week we will be doing our Lock and Key Netflix reaction. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
See you later.